All right, recording in progress. Sam, you want to kick us off?
Yes. Call this meeting to order on May 28th, 2025, 6:03 p.m. of the Prairie Ranch Water District. For board members in attendance, Randy,
Here.
Mia,
Here, you're echoing really bad too.
Marcy,
Here.
Jess,
Here.
and Sam is all here. All board members accounted for. Jesse, if you can present, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You can present the agenda. Can you put it on the screen, Jesse?
Yeah, sorry, give me 1 minute.
No, you're good.
I was down at the pump house until a couple minutes before the meeting started.
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yeah, still got more to do down there. The new sensor is not behaving as expected.
Okay.
Okay, should be sharing you now. I'll try to zoom in as much as possible.
Yes.
Okay, first thing, obviously declaration of quorum. We have a quorum and disclosure matters. I believe Sam and I and Marcy have conflict of interest statements on file, but I'm not sure about Mia and Randy, but we're all in the same community. We all have the same, so we'll go from there. First quick thing, the manganese letter needs to be mailed out to district subscribers on August 1st. This is what we normally do every billing cycle, but in addition to the monthly manganese letter, there's also the public notice that goes out about failure to resolve the T330 and D910 violations, which were for cleaning and inspecting the tanks. The property developers signed and agreed that they would take care of those items. They got pretty done, definitely got the tanks cleaned, and we got the pipeline cleaned as well, but the inspection never occurred, so that's still an open violation with the health department. And even though we received that violation, I think I did kind of convince the health department and everybody that someone else had already signed to take responsibility for that. So the notice that's going out along with the manganese notice, we are expecting the property developer to distribute that. I'm not sure if it'll happen or not, but that is the expectation of both our district and of the health department at this point.
Hey, Jesse. I need to stop you and let you know that I will read the rest of it.
Okay.
So the manganese letter for June and July is already set up, correct? To go out?
Let me double check real quick. Oh, I can't anymore. Yeah, the next two are queued up. So
I think Randy has told me that they are set up to go out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah, Jesse, you and I had looked at that on LetterStream, and you showed me where they were, that they were good to go for June and July, but we would need to start getting forward for August. But I think you're talking about a different letter other than those. Is that true?
Yeah, so there's the monthly manganese letter, which has always had to go out with every billing cycle. There's the additional public notice about the open violation for failure to inspect the tanks by a deadline. That's the one that we're expecting the developer to handle. Then there's another one, Randy, that you and I need to hop back on and set up in LetterStream, and that's the annual consumer confidence notice that we also need to mail out with the next manganese notice. That's a health department deadline, so we definitely don't want to miss that one.
So that deadline is August 1st.
No, that deadline is middle of June, I think, but we've always done it like on the the 31st of May or the 1st of June in the past. So I'd like to continue that tradition if we can.
Okay.
That sounds good.
The rule says it has to be mailed with the billing cycle. So if we bill monthly, it has to be mailed, basically on the same date as the bills go out. So that's how I've always timed the manganese letters, is to go out on the 1st, because that's when we send bills.
Okay, and we'll do the consumer confidence letter as well.
Yeah, and that's a 16 pager.
Okay. We will take care of that. All of us will take care of that. The next thing that we need to talk about is the resolution to appoint Ryan Norton. Is he on this meeting?
I am.
Okay, Ryan, I would like to appoint you to take Jesse's position, which would be the assistant secretary. Can I get a motion to second that?
I would second.
Thank you. We also would like to, Mia and Randy were appointed at our May 5th meeting. So we just need to complete the bonds and the oath of office. If you all will raise your hands, I can just go ahead and have the oath of office read to you, and you would need to put your hand up. Go ahead, Randy.
No, I put my hand up. Isn't that for the oath of office?
Yes, I'm going to read it to you and Mia and Ryan.
Okay.
And if you guys will turn on your cameras so we can see your right hand raised. Thank you. Randy, turn your camera on. Thank
I
you.
was working on it.
Hi, Mia. Okay, I'm going to read this and I want you to raise your right hand and I will sign off on your oaths. First, okay. Do you swear Randy Moore and Maria Homaker and Ryan Norton, do you swear or affirm or swear by the ever-living God that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Colorado, and the laws of the State of Colorado, and will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Director for Prairie View Ranch Water District?
I do.
I do.
Okay, I can sign those. You guys already have your bonds filled out, or your board of director oaths filled out, and I can sign those. They don't have to go to a notary. Did you say I do, Ryan?
Yes, I said.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The next, Sam, I just want to let you know that we appreciate your service, but I'm going to appoint a new president, and that would be Sheila Brown. And we appreciate your service and appreciate everything that you have done for the district. And it's just time to move on to other items. You know, we just need to move the board forward.
Okay, we need to have a vote on that.
I'm appointing Sheila, and yes, we need a motion.
I decline.
Randy,
I decline.
Jesse, Sam, obviously you decline. I'm the only actual sitting duly elected board member at this minute until I just read those for you, Mia and Randy and Ryan. Ryan, are you in support of that?
I am.
Also,
Sheila,
need to have a vote on Ryan first, guys.
we already did. Didn't
No.
we?
No,
Okay, Ryan. You said you would uphold the Constitution, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I motion to appoint Randy to Jesse's assistant that was vacated, assistant secretary. Can I get an aye from the board?
Aye.
Aye.
An aye. Right, and so Ryan is now appointed to the board. He said his oath, and we'll get the bonds for you guys done by the end of the week.
Okay.
Okay, on the motion for Sheila to be president, I just want to, again, thank Sam for his service. And hopefully, I'm not sure where we go at this point.
I motion that we bring Sam back for another four terms or 4-year term.
Wow.
I would second that motion.
Okay, I decline. Ryan?
If it's a tough say, I also second that, so.
Well, thank you. Sheila, how do you feel about that?
I'm willing to do what the district needs.
Okay.
Can this be done in an executive session where we discuss possibly a deputy role, that in the event that Sam has his job duties that would require him, that he could have a acting in that form of fashion?
We already do, and that's Marcy.
Okay.
Okay, well, so we had, how many people did we have that declined? Me and Randy, right?
Yep. You have two things on there, Marcy. You have Ryan, you have your motion, and then you have Mia's
Right.
motion, and neither one is carried yet.
Okay, well, Mia brought the other motion up to reappoint you. I declined, Ryan declined, Sheila declined.
I agree with Ryan. I would like to discuss this further in more of our executive type and just get some more details and go through some additional things.
Yes.
Is that okay with you, Jeff?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. We will hold those motions until the end of the meeting. The next order of business is the water rates. We are going to, according to the budget that was put in place, we need to raise water rates. We don't really have a choice. Any comments?
What are we raising those water rates to?
At least $90 a month.
Going from 70 to 90, correct?
Yes. We are under, back me up on this, Jesse. There is a law in the state of Colorado that we cannot spend more than we take in, right?
Yeah, and the other way around too.
Right.
Because we're nonprofit. I mean, you can reserve money for earmarked projects and everything, but yeah.
So
we cannot allow the district to go broke or spend more than it takes in. That's yeah.
right. So we're short several $1,000s on the approved budget for 2025-26, right? Or 2025.
Yeah, let me bring the budget up on the screen too. Give me a minute.
Okay. I know no one wants higher water rates, but we have to have higher water rates. Unfortunately.
So yeah, there we go. Let me try to zoom in a little more on the 25 projected. This is our projected income based on the $70 a month water rate. Remember the 75,000 potential DOLA grant that we're shooting for?
Jesse, I'm not seeing it.
I'm
Yeah.
not either.
Oh, really?
No.
Sorry, give me one sec.
Okay.
I apologize. That should be there now.
Yep.
So yeah, with the projected current $70 a month, we're looking at bringing in 41,567. But because of the extra costs, moving forward, and they're just going to get bigger and bigger as we spend grant money and everything. The problem is the grant money cannot be spent on day-to-day operations. It's already, pretty much earmarked for the project in certain ways. Legal spend, engineering spend, research and development, and planning, but we can't use that money to buy bleach. We can't use that money to buy an extra laptop, to pay for internet access, or etc. So we do have to collect from the public however much it costs to perform the operations and tasks that we need to. And right now, we're projecting roughly $26,000 a year in shortfall if we actually spend all of that money.
Jesse, what is that $26,000 under 2025 projected? It was
Short
2,500 the year before.
It's the anticipated shortfall. So sorry, I'm actually, that number doesn't calculate, or that number is factoring in the 75,000 potential DOLA grant, which would actually leave us with positive 26,202 if we were to spend 92,120.
That wasn't the 26,000 I was asking about.
This
We can't see.
26,000,
Yes, that's
that
the 26,000 I'm asking.
I believe that's legal and pro. Yeah, legal and pro services.
So in order to get this CDPHE grant, this tier 1 grant, we have to have some legal and professional services in order to use that grant, to get that grant, to be able to use that for legal and professional services.
Pretty much, yeah. We're trying to bootstrap that whole process. There's got to be seed money or something, an initial spend before we can be reimbursed.
So you're not.
So where do we stand as far as raising our water rates? Do you agree? Does the board agree?
To do a vote.
And to be
A
clear
motion.
for everybody,
Can I
that
put,
it's going from $70 current to a $90 would be the new amount, correct?
yes. I ask for a motion that we pass the new water rates of $90 per month from $70 per month.
Effective when, would you think, Marcy?
Effective probably in July.
Yeah, we have to give 30 days notice to the
Exactly.
community.
I wanted to clarify that, so
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
I second.
So
Thank
I have
you.
I have a question. Actually doing the math, if we were to spend 92,120 that we budgeted for, not factoring in the 75,000, then $90 a month isn't even close to cutting it. It would be more like 158 a month. So yeah, we need to figure out like how much are we actually spending out of operations and maintenance versus that 75,000. So maybe we should, if we subtract the 26,000 legal and pro, except for the part, except for what we currently owe and what we're going to before we can start getting reimbursements for further spend, maybe we should try to roll most of that 26,000 into the 75,000 grant. But unfortunately, that we haven't received that yet, so I don't know where to go.
I just see this as a problem. We already have some people that refuse to pay their water bills and stuff like this, and now that we're even upping it even more, I see a problem with that.
Yeah, it always will be. There's always going to be people that don't like any rate, and 90 is not cheap. It's not super expensive in the grand scheme of things compared to other districts and municipalities in Colorado, but our only other option is to spend less money, and we're already not spending nearly enough as much as it actually takes to run the district. And as you know, I've been donating lots of time and resources and everything, and I will continue to try to do as much of that as possible, but it is going to be a lot less than it has in the past. I wish that wasn't the case, but I really have to focus on my career and holding down a job and having a life and everything. So I will try to offset these costs as much as possible with donated labor, but that can only go so far.
Well, yeah, I agree. I agree. All of us should be able to donate time and stuff like that. Do we have to do 90 a month, or can we go from 70 to 80 and then finally 90, giving people some time to be able to be like, okay, I need to readjust some things so I am able to pay that $90 a month? Because I mean, a lot of times, like us, we are a single home income home, so we have to readjust because we had it at 9 or 70. Now we need to readjust other things to make sure that we can cover that 90. And I know other people will be like that also. So do we have to, can we do it as get up to that point where we start, at 70, July, it'll be up to 80. And then after another 30 days or 60 days or whatever, then we'll finally get up to 90 days or $90 a month.
Yes, I think we can do that, right, Jesse?
Slowly get up to there and just give people fair warning. Hey, in this month, we are finally going to reach $90 a month. Just give everybody fair warning. Hey, this is what's going on. This is why it's going up.
Right. And that way they can budget for that.
Yep. Just want to stay though, like still doing the math in the calculator, 90 times 49 times 12 is only about $53,000.
Well, we might be able to spend a little less on some categories in the budget. Maybe try and, finagle numbers to get us there. Maybe we only spend, yeah. Well, I know we need to raise rates. It's not something I want to do either. But we have no choice. So I say we do June and July, maybe $80, and then maybe in September or maybe August, September.
So I'm okay with a phased in increase also.
Okay.
But I'm thinking for people, I think some people in the community might need more time than just a couple of months to add an additional $20 into their budget.
Okay, so you think
I'm thinking phased in over 6 months.
Okay.
Sheila,
I'm sorry?
I agree with you. It should be phased.
And I think based on what was just said, we're going to have to leave it at 70 for June because that's right next
Yes.
week. And then we can bump it to 80 for July. And then 6 months down the road, do the 90.
I think that sounds like a plan.
Push it off to August for the next $10, but inform the community that in August, that amount will go up and why, so people can take at least a 2-month window to plan for budgeting, to do their budgets accordingly, and then defer the next $10.
Yeah. Saying the effective date's really important just to make sure that
Correct. So
everyone's on the same page and nobody can say, oh, I thought that I still had one more month, etc.
Yep.
Right.
So then when the bills come out at this month, expect, again, giving a warning, the bill will be increased by $10 on this month. We're preparing you now. So you're aware to make those plans. And then the second increase will be this month, or whatever that month is agreed upon, so that they can prepare for that additional increase.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so we will do the $10 charge starting in July, but put a note at the bottom of each invoice that,
I would push the $10 even. That's too short of a notice for July. I would give them 2 months. Prepare
Okay.
them for, so it would be August for the August bill. The August bill would be $10 increase. And then the October bill or the September bill would be the additional $10 increase for a $20 annual increase.
You run that by me again, Ryan.
Okay, so June, because that's coming up, will be normal, $70.
Yep.
July will be also $70. August's bill will have the $10 increase. That gives us 2 full months to warn, to allow the community to prepare. And that a second increase will happen in, we could say August, or you could say September, so they can also prepare for that additional.
well,
If
if we need it.
yes.
Go ahead, Sheila.
I was going to say maybe phased in over a full 6 months. So do the July bill at 70, or at June bill be 70 with a notice on it that it's going up to 80 in July.
Yes.
And then 4 months from there, August, September, October, November, with a note on there a month or 2 ahead of time, maybe even 3, that it'll be going up to 90, and then just so we're notifying everybody 30 days ahead of
Right.
time.
Yeah, at least 30 days. Some people, like what Mia was talking about, it may require them longer, and we want to be cognizant of their capabilities and what they can do. So again, that's why I was saying do the 80 in August. So give them, it's essentially June now. So this board meeting's saying it. So they have June and July. August's bill will be that increase. So we're kind of informing them to prepare.
And then in November is the next increase,
Yes.
November 1st.
Yes. That billing cycle for November would be the second increase and possibly final.
Okay, I think Sam has his hand raised.
Go ahead, Sam.
Okay. Listen to all this, since you carried the motion or the discussion on board members to the executive session. And Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, the current board, before any changes were made, are the ones that have to vote on this.
I would agree with that, Sam.
I'm sorry.
So, Sam, you're asking me a question, and I'll make sure I understand it.
So since it's been tabled, I'm sorry about this echo. I don't know what's going on. Since it's been tabled to the executive session for board members and positions and so forth, this decision needs to be voted on by the original board members, correct?
Correct. And that's the question that I need some clarification on as to who the board members are. And I guess to say previously, because I mean, if you want to talk about this issue's been tabled. The way I understand where everything's at now is that there are competing motions that have been tabled on the board members as to who's going to be president of the board, correct?
And Other board members being appointed.
and other board members being appointed. So as of now, the way I understand it, the current appointed board members are Marcy, Mia, Randy, and Ryan, correct?
Yes.
I thought we tabled that to the executive session.
So
I believe
yeah, let's
we're
make sure we're clear on what we're doing.
Who would be president? The president motion was tabled to executive. The acceptance of the new board members is part of this. There's no-
So to answer your question, Sam, we can't vote on people in executive session.
Right.
The only thing that can happen in executive session is if there are questions about legal advice, about what the process or procedure should look like, I can answer those questions. Those people who would be allowed into the executive session are current members of the board. That's why it's important for me to know who the board members are right now, because they would be the ones that would be asking the questions about the process in the executive session. Now, where I see things now, or the way I understand them, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we've got 4 appointed members of the board, which were, and then we have 2 others, Sheila and Sam, who aren't yet appointed to the board. Am I understanding that correctly? And so there needs to be an appointment to the board of that specific person, and then there's a motion on who the president of the board is going to be.
Okay.
Does that sound right? Okay, so when we go
you
into
only have
executive
4?
session, there will be 4 members of the board who go into executive session to get legal advice on the process of the appointment of the remaining board member. And then we would come out, make the appointment, and then there would be a motion on who the president would be.
Okay.
And one of the things that I wasn't clear about coming into this meeting was, so was there an election in May? There was no election in May. So the appointment of the board members would
Well-
fall back on the remaining board, whoever was remaining on the board. My understanding was we had 3 people on the board in May. Sam, thanks, Sam. I can see Sam. I can't see anybody else. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, that's good. I'm glad I can see you because
So
you're
you are
letting me know I'm
correct.
going the right way. So
You
the
are
3
correct.
people on the board in May were
As of May through tonight till 6 p.m. or whatever, you had 3. Marcy, Mia, Randy. That's it.
We appointed Ryan.
No, I think Jeff is talking about the meeting in May.
Yeah, like basically,
Oh.
at the start of today's meeting, before any talk about appointments, who were the actual board members? And that would be Marcy, whose term expires in 2027, Randy and Mia, who we previously appointed, but need to reappoint, which is what we were doing tonight.
Correct.
And
Well, we
then
did.
Ryan and Sam.
We appointed Mia and Randy on May 5th, 2025.
So
Yes.
the way that the statute reads for a district is that when there are vacancies, the remaining members of the board appoint new members to fill positions until the next election, and then they will fill those spots if they're elected into those positions. So it's kind of confusing when you read it because you're appointed to a position, but you don't hold that position unless you're elected at the next election. So somebody can run against you at the next election. for that position. If nobody runs against you, you stay in that role until the expiration of that role. So for Mia and Randy, they were appointed on May 5th to fill the 2 open positions that were available. Sam and Jesse didn't run for to be reelected into the office at that point. I don't think we had an election. So the existing board members at the time appointed Randy. I'm figuring this out. I was really confused. It's making sense now. So Randy and Mia were appointed. They have now been sworn in. So the members of the board as of tonight, as of the appointments that they received, are Marcy, Randy, and Mia.
That's
Ryan
it.
was also, was there a vote to appoint? So there'd have to be a vote of the 3 individuals to appoint Ryan, Sheila, and Sam, but only 2 of the 3 can be appointed because you only have 5 positions.
Yes.
Now,
I
Thank
if
thought
God,
you
there
are
was
Jeff.
a
You
confused,
vote
got
raise
on
your
the
hand.
Ryan.
Go ahead, Linda.
I thought there was a vote on Ryan.
There was.
Who nominated Ryan? I think Marcy nominated
I
Ryan.
I did. And then he read his oath of office.
But there was no vote.
But then you voted after, didn't you?
I thought we did.
Okay.
So Ryan would also be on the board.
Well, let's
He
make
took,
sure this is clear.
okay.
Let's make sure this is clear. So Marcy nominated Ryan to the board. Those people who can vote on whether Ryan is in would be Randy, Mia, and Marcy. Because they're the only people, because let me make sure we did this right, because Randy, Mia did their oath, but they did them at the same time as Ryan, correct?
Yes.
But there was no vote for Ryan.
Okay, so, but at the time, the only member, so the only time Marcy was the only member of technically the only member of the board. She can appoint somebody. So if she says Ryan is appointed, this is very confusing, guys. Let's not let this happen again. So if she appoints Ryan, there doesn't need to be a vote because she's the only person. So if Marcy appoints him and she approves him and then read in his name, we now have 4 people on the board, which is
Yeah.
Ryan, Marcy, Randy, Mia. We have 2 people who want to be on the board and be appointed, which are Sheila and Sam. We're going to have, as part of the executive session, I'll be giving an update to everyone on various things, and we can talk about the process, come back out and choose who the final member of the board will be, and then also take the motions up for who will be the president.
Yes.
Is everybody on the same page?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions along the way, please let me know. It was a little confusing, but I think we've got it figured out. So, Sam, does that answer your question?
100%.
Perfect. It was a good question. Thanks.
I just
Now I
didn't
don't know
want
what we're at.
the district to get in a pinch.
So now we're back to rates, guys. We're back to rates.
Right. So I set a motion to raise water rates at a $10 increase starting in August of 2025, and then an additional $10, which would make it $90 per month as of November of 2025. Can I get a second to that motion?
I second.
I second.
We can't have Sheila seconding it.
No, because it's on the table. We're tabling you and her for
Right.
the executive meeting. Yes.
Mia
So
seconded it.
Ryan,
Yeah, Mia seconded it. She did it after Sheila, so Mia is the second.
okay. So the motion passes.
You have to call for a vote.
And get a call
Oh,
for the vote.
can I call? Yeah, I want to call for a vote. Mia,
Yes.
Randy,
I'm an abstain.
Ryan,
Yeah,
you agree to that?
yes.
Okay, motion's carried and approved, I guess. Sorry, you guys have to bear with me. This is my first time kind of leading the meeting, so. Jesse, can you put back up the,
Yep. We are on update the community on the status of the district regarding grants and finances.
okay. We were able to, just the community, we were able to secure grant funds from CDPHE of 300,000. I think we kind of discussed that at the last meeting. What grants that we got. Ryan will now be in charge of making sure that the project is being overseen. Correct, Ryan?
Yes, I elected to, with CDPHE, to be the project manager for the district, working directly with CDPHE for the grant funding process.
Okay. Just in other news, I mean, they've been on the meeting, they kind of know that, who our board members are, who was appointed, et cetera. So I think that concludes basically the finances, and since they've been listening to this meeting, so who the community members that are here.
I wanted to throw out, just for everyone who doesn't know already, Sean Boyd and from Channel 4 and Lauren Boebert herself, and then later Byron Pelton all came out to Prairie View Ranch today to take a look at the pump house and talk to us about our $5 million funding request. And it was very positive. I sent Lauren back to Washington, D.C. with a bottle of our sludge water. And she's definitely going to make us think about that and do everything she can to make sure that her $5 million request for Prairie View Ranch is approved by the House Appropriations Committee.
Yeah, it was nice to have her here.
And
I
for
can
those,
barely believe it. She
Okay.
actually came out herself, but yeah, she walked around in the pump house and touched the sludge with her fingers and found it pretty unacceptable. So I'm hoping she can go to bat for us and get us some kickstarting money to get this project going.
and for anybody's clarification, CBS is planning to air the story with Lauren Boebert in about 2 weeks. Is that correct, Stan? That's what you understood?
1 week.
Oh, 1 week?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, that kind of sums up what we're doing and what the finances are and community information. So the next thing I think is, I don't know why I can't get it bigger, but Jesse, can you read what the next point on that is? Are we going into executive session now?
There was a Q&A or community comment
question, yeah.
commentary and then executive
Okay.
session.
Okay, so anybody from the community or anybody at all, do you have anything to add? Do you want to comment on anything? Sam? No?
I
Mia?
raised my hand. I just wanted to see if it was okay with everybody, to see if I can start a Facebook page, same as Nextdoor. It'll be the exact same thing, because I know a lot of people use Facebook over Nextdoor, to put out information and other stuff like that. So it'll be a private Facebook page just for our neighborhood, and we can all be admins to it. So we can add information if the water goes down, or a situation like we had yesterday, or if we need help with the community to help with something, we can also put Nextdoor and a private Facebook page.
I like the idea.
Yeah, very few people use Nextdoor, not only in this community, but just in general. Facebook has a much wider audience, and I think that's a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's a good idea too. Okay, so there was nobody that wanted to comment, Brenda or Jacob, anybody? Carlotta? Oh, Matt Wamsley. Matt?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Hear you now.
Hey, I just had a question since it was brought up earlier during kind of the planning and the budget. There was somebody that said that there's a large portion of the or there are members in the community that refuse to pay their water bills. I was just wondering if there was a percentage. I mean, when we talk about raising the rates and being conscious of raising them at a slower rate, yet we have people in the community that refuse to pay, that seems like that's a strain on the system just as much as going through the process of raising the rates at a reasonable, or in a reasonable time frame to give everybody time to account for that.
Yes.
If that makes sense. I mean, do we have a percentage of people that just refuse to pay, and a reasoning behind the refusal?
I don't know that anybody's actually refusing to pay their water bill. Most of the people that I had to that we contacted have gotten their water bills caught up, so I don't know that there's a percentage to give you.
Okay. Well, no, and it's not, and maybe not a percentage. I just think that when we talk about planning and budgeting and giving everybody reasonable time to budget for it, that those issues might be worth addressing as well. But just as a member of the community, like, I understand if things get tight and maybe shortfalls happen. I'm fully aware of those things, but the way that it was presented is like people were refusing to pay. So that's the only question that I had.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Matt. But yeah, nobody has actually refused to pay. So,
Okay,
and
that's
most
great.
people, yeah, most people have gotten caught up. So,
and just as a other side note, I appreciate all your guys' hard work and busting your butts to make it feasible for us, and make life easier without having to deal with shutdowns and all that stuff. I know all you guys bust your butts, so I appreciate it.
thank you. Anybody else have any comments from the community? Okay, just to let everybody know, we need to go to executive session. Were you able to get that? Jesse, were you able to get that fixed?
So yeah, there's another link. I texted the board members what that link is. So
Okay.
yeah, I won't be able to change this meeting or create a breakout session. So there's just another meeting running side by side with this one.
Okay. Well, and you sent it to all the board members? Jesse,
Sorry, say again.
did you send to all board members?
Let me make sure I get Sheila too and Ryan.
No.
No, Sheila
Sorry.
can't.
Sheila and Sam won't be included in it. It'll just be, so let me go through. There'll be a motion to go into executive session. Marcy will request a motion to go into executive session, or make a motion to go into executive session. There's a second, and then the current 4 board members will vote on whether or not to go into executive session for the purpose of receiving legal advice. If that motion carries, then they can also invite in specific people. Obviously, the attorney will be invited in. I would ask Linda Seeley to be invited in. She's going to take the notes of the executive session. So we have notes of what happened in executive session. And then, is there anyone else that needed to be in the executive session as an invitee of the board?
I
I
didn't.
don't think.
So
Go ahead. What, Ryan?
I said I haven't gotten any invite yet.
Okay.
So if Jesse's putting together, I got a link from Jesse to go into a separate meeting. So Jesse, do we have to get out of this meeting and go into that meeting and then come back and get back into this meeting?
Yeah, so both
Okay.
meetings will run concurrently for the entire duration of this meeting.
Thank you. So I guess we just, Marcy, if you want to get a motion to go into executive session, and then
Okay.
the board, and then I guess
The
Ryan
board.
needs to make sure Ryan's got a link, and then we'll go into
Okay.
that.
Okay. I put a motion forward to go into executive session to talk about legal matters with the lawyer. Can I get a second?
I second.
Thank you. All right, guys, we'll be back to this meeting when we're done in the executive session.
Yeah. So Marcy, we need a call for a vote.
Okay, I call
On the
for
motion.
a vote on the motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Guy?
Yes.
Okay, so everyone voted to go into executive session. We'll now go over to the other meeting. So I guess we get out of this one and go into the other one, and I'll meet everyone over there.
Okay.
And then we'll come back to this one.
Hello.
Hello. Are we in the executive session?
No, Marcy, you are not. You are still in the regular board meeting.
Okay.
You'll have to actually disconnect from this meeting and then come back to it.
Okay.
But there's another link that you should have a link to.
Okay. In Titan?
Check your text message.
Okay.
Jesse,
Okay.
it looks like Mia's still on this session also.
Yeah, Mia, can you disconnect from the public meeting and then come back to it after the executive session? You're currently on two meetings at the same time. Cool.
Hey, Jesse. While we're waiting in here, can you scroll over so I can see the line items of the budget, just out of curiosity? Oh, that's perfect right there. Thank you.
You didn't say she didn't because I got proof right here. I'll have Randy call you, is what Marcy said at 4:39. what I put on here. Do we need to have agenda items for the meeting? I thought tonight was only an executive session. We need to put blah, 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 blah. I'll have Randy call you at 4:39, so you can't tell me Randy didn't know. They all knew, every single one of them.
Also, so Jesse, I'm looking at this expenses. Are you there?
Sheila, sorry, I'm trying to run both meetings at the same time. I'm sorry.
Okay, just skip it. We'll talk about it some other time.
Okay, we'll all be back after this part anyway.
Okay.
Is everybody back?
Not
Yep.
yet.
Okay.
Marcy, I believe.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I believe everyone.
Okay.
I would
Okay,
suggest
I'm
real quick,
gonna make a motion to retable the vote or the motion to appoint Sheila as the president of the district.
So, Marcy, before you go forward, we just have to
Oh,
do a quick report. So
okay.
I'll do the quick report. So the board met in executive session for the purposes of receiving legal advice on various legal issues, and that opinion was received, and no decisions and direction are necessary at this time. And so now you can proceed with your meeting.
Okay, thank you. So I'm retabling the motion to appoint a president of our board to be Sheila Brown. And I need a second on that motion.
sorry, can I say something real quick? Let's just make sure that Sam and Sheila and everybody else is actually back, just in case folks have stepped away from their phones for whatever reason. I just don't see Sam or Sheila's video, so I'm not sure if they're actually at their devices or not. Can we check real quick? Sam, Sheila, are you back?
I'm here.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. So on to someone seconding the motion. Can I get a second? Mia,
I believe
Randy?
that we want to ask questions to the candidates, both Sam and Sheila.
Yes. So the board can ask questions to Sheila. Sheila was first appointed. Does anyone have any questions for Sheila?
So Sheila, there's a question, and I don't know how to answer it or to ask it. From the understanding of history, is that your capacity because of your workload didn't work well with being on the board? Is there a way for you to maybe clarify to everyone and to the board of your availability capacity to take on the role as president if nominated and accepted?
When I resigned, I never said anything about my workload.
Okay, yeah, so just mainly the resignation.
When I resigned, I didn't say anything about the workload. I did say that it was personal. And I will say now that was to care for Rick. Rick has died.
Thank you. Does anybody else have questions?
I just want to point out that Sheila has been involved in all of this since any of us, way before any of us, 10 years before. She started doing Cora requests and trying to get information from the state as to what the developer was doing and trying to raise red flags, and nobody wanted to listen to her. And so when we were reappointed, or when we were appointed by the county commissioners, Sheila joined the board because she was the one who knew everything prior to any of us living here. I just wanted to point that out.
Well, Marcy, I'll provide your second for that.
Thank you. Can we get a vote from the board? Mia?
No.
Randy?
No,
Ryan?
Yes.
Me, yes. So that means the motion is not passed and it dies right here. Sam was appointed second. Does anybody have any questions for Sam? Or first, I need to do a motion to talk about the Sam's appointment.
Then, Marcy, actually, I think that you tabled that motion as well. So you can open that up for discussion before you have a vote. So you can just open it for discussion.
Okay, so I will retable the motion to appoint Sam to the president position of the board. I have a question. I know, well, first I'll say, I know that you are very busy with the fire department and that a lot of the time you are unable to make the meetings. And my question for you is, in the future, when there's an emergency, how would you handle that?
Both
If it
times that
wasn't,
we've had, both times that we've had an emergency, I was here. I implemented Kevin coming out with the excavator and all the help that we got. There was no bill from Kevin's company. I've only missed one or two meetings, the coaching meetings. I originally told whoever that I could not do them on Monday or Tuesday. Monday I was in EMT class. Tuesday was my fire department training class. After Kira Gregory and I spoke, she switched them to Wednesdays, and we were waiting to do the next one.
okay. Mia, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Randy?
I do not.
Ryan?
None for me.
Okay. I guess now we'll take a vote from the board. Randy?
Yes for Sam.
Mia?
Yes for Sam.
I will vote not to decline. So no from me. Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, well, that motion passes. Sam is going to be appointed the president of our district. And I guess I need a second to pass that motion. And then I'll ask for a vote.
You just did.
I'll
Mia?
second it.
Okay. So Sam is appointed as the president to the board. And I need votes from Mia.
So backing up really quick.
Okay.
So we had two individuals that wanted to be on the board.
Yes.
And Sam was selected to be on the board. So he's now a board member. You have a vacant presidency spot. And so the nomination is for Sam to be president, and you're going to vote on that. Were there any other nominations, or was Sam the only nomination?
Well, Sheila was the other nomination and that motion was declined. Or was dead. We couldn't
Right.
pass a motion.
Therefore,
So I need to get a vote on Sam being president of our board. Mia,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Marcy, I'll still decline. Ryan,
Yes.
okay. Motion passes. Does anybody have any more comments or questions for the board?
I do, Marcy. How long is the appointment for? Till the next election cycle, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe Mia and Randy's positions are 3 years.
So during
Is
that
it-
election session, I myself will also be part of that.
Yes. You will also have a 3-year term.
I believe appointments have to go to the next, which you are correct, Marcy. You are correct.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions, comments? Jeff?
Yeah, I would just say that the way the statute reads is that they would be subject to be elected at the next election. So if somebody could run against them at the next election, if nobody runs against them at the next election, which is next May, they would retain that position for the 3 years.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
That would be both Sam and I.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to put a motion forward to end our meeting. Can I get a second?
I second.
Can we vote on it? Mia?
Yes.
Ryan
Yes.
and Randy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So thanks to everybody for coming to the meeting. Sorry that we had to do the executive session, but we had legal things to talk about. We appreciate Jeff for being here and Linda, his assistant. Thanks for everybody's hard work. And I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.